Okay, good. So good morning, everyone. This is the first ENDORSE follow-up event of 2026. And we are going to start already with the very hot topic of AI factories. The ENDORSE follow-up events are meant to keep the knowledge and also the interest between the ENDORSE conferences. So that's why they are called follow-up events. The ENDORSE conference stands for the European Data Conference on Reference Data and Semantics. It's a biannual event. And between the events, we are organizing a set of webinars on the topic of semantics, reference data, but also a lot of topics related to AI, LLMs, and so on. And already this first topic of this year is going to show the interest for the topic. So the aim is to explore the initiative of AI factories from 2 points of view. The first is the strategic foundation of AI factories. So what are the policies, what are the strategies, the EU strategies that are behind the AI factories initiative? And then we are going to have to explore it from also 2 use cases, 2 practical implementations and deployments of this initiative, from the Greek AI factory and from the Luxembourgish AI factory. And then we are going to close the event with a presentation from the Publications Office to explore how the Publications Office can support all this from the data perspective. So I would like to welcome all of our speakers. We are going to have 50 minutes for each presentation. And we are going to start with the presentation of Javier Cordova Morey from DG CNECT. Then we will follow with Lilit Axner from EUROHPC. And then we go to the 2 AI factories. The first is the Luxembourgish one. So we will have Stefano Pozzi Mucelli from Luxinnovation and Irina Balaur from the Luxembourg National Data Service. And then our last speaker, before the last speaker, we are going to go to the Pharos AI factory from Greece. So Giorgos Stamou is going to be our speaker. And then we are going to close with Vassilios Peristeras from the Publications Office on the AI-ready data of the Publications Office. So this is our agenda for today. Welcome, everyone, and thank you very much for attending. The Q&A session is going to be at the end of the webinar. So please reserve all your questions for the end, except for the first one, because Javier will have to leave after his presentation. So we will take the questions related to DG CNECT and the AI Factories initiative in the beginning, and then we are going to continue with the rest of the speakers and take all the Q&A sessions at the end. Of course, you're also welcome to put your questions to the chat already during the presentations. So I think that was it. Please mute yourselves, and then we can launch. So I will give the floor to Javier. He will share his slides, and we can launch.
Good morning to everyone. Thank you, Nico and colleagues from Publications Office for inviting us to present the AI Factories initiative in this ENDORSE webinar. And good morning to everyone. Good to see you here in good numbers today. So my name is Javier Cordova. I work for the European Commission, DG CNECT, in the unit in charge of high performance computing and also developing and deploying these AI factories initiative, and in the future the upcoming AI Gigafactory. So I will try to give a bit the policy and the strategic context to serve as the umbrella for the development of this session. So after me, we will have Lilit from EUROHPC presenting more exhaustively the role of EUROHPC, but just to give the context. So the high-performance computing initiatives of the EU are implemented under EUROHPC joint undertaking, which was established in 2018 and became autonomous in 2021. And it's governed by a board composed by the European Commission, then 38 participating states, and 3 primate members, with the mission to acquire, deploy, and maintain not only HPC, but also quantum infrastructure in Europe, fund the related research and innovation projects in different domains like HPC applications, software, hardware, etc., provide access to this network of HPC systems, and recently develop and operate this network of AI factories. This was an addition that required an amendment to the initial regulation of the EUROHPC. I won't enter into the details here, but this is the state of play of EUROHPC supercomputers. Maybe to highlight here, they have different scales, each of them, but maybe a highlight here is that very recently, 2025, Jupiter was inaugurated in Jülich in Germany, which is a milestone for the EU because this is the first exascale supercomputer in Europe, meaning a supercomputer with capacity to run 1 billion floating point operations per second. So now let's go into the strategy, into the context. So AI factories are included in this AI Continent Action Plan that was launched 2025, developing the European strategy in all those pillars that are fundamental in order to achieve this ambition to become a leading AI continent globally. So these pillars are computing infrastructure, algorithmia, of course, the data in order to train these AI models, the necessary talent and skills to run all these mechanisms here, and then the regulatory framework in order to govern AI developments and AI applications in Europe. For the context of this presentation here, AI factories are very much interlinked with all those 4 domains here. Okay, of course, computing is at the core of AI factories, but also data facilities, support to algorithms, and the development of a talent, of a pool of talent within the AI factories ecosystem. On algorithms, the EU has developed and launched the Apply AI strategy, which identifies a number of key strategic sectors where AI applications are specifically supported. What will be the next step? I will just hint it here, but the next step, the next evolution of AI factories that is in the making are AI gigafactories. You might have heard about this because so far it has raised a lot of expectations within the market. This is really to create massive scale infrastructures, AI dedicated infrastructures, but with a different model. So far, factories and EUROHPC supercomputers have always been public infrastructures owned by the public in the sense that they are co-funded completely by the union and the participating states. Here we are looking into public-private partnership model. Why? Because the investment here is so huge, we will see a bit later, that this new model is required. Again, here sovereignty is going to be a key pillar in order to ensure ownership of this infrastructure and the related data as well. So coming back to the factories, the initiative was launched in 2024, sorry, and through 3 rounds, 19 AI factories have been selected by the EUROHPC, plus 13 AI factory antennas. In a minute, I will explain what is the difference between those, which are spanning across the union, not only member states, but also participating states, in particular for the antennas and associated countries to the EUROHPC. This involves the procurement of 15 new AI-optimized supercomputers, plus one major upgrade of one of the existing ones, concretely the Barcelona supercomputer. And with the result of a 5-fold increase in AI computing capacity in the Union. For the overall initiative has mobilized around 2.6 billion including both initiatives. So AI factories, very important point here, do not stand on their own. This is really a network initiative. So in the very next weeks or months, we are going to launch a specific initiative in order to network and make these factories and antennas completely interoperable. So this is going to be a coordination and networking initiative in order to ensure seamless collaboration for users, regardless what's their location in the EU. Concretely, so what are AI factories? These are dynamic ecosystems, including, of course, the AI optimized supercomputers, the data facilities, programming and training facilities, and very important as well, the talent, the human talent to support AI development, both for science and for industrial innovation in the EU. This has been a novel approach to create this network, specifically targeting AI. Maybe a parenthesis here. So traditionally, the supercomputing world was very much research-oriented, so numerical simulation, etc. With the advancement of AI, really a change of mindset was required, and this is what we are building here with these specific factories, with required skill set and support specific for this kind of developments. All these factories and antennas are gradually becoming operational through this year, and each of them is specializing on a number of strategic sectors. For instance, health, life science, manufacturing, cybersecurity, education, etc. The largest AI factories are expected to have of the order of 25,000 advanced AI processors. So in this slide, we display the main ingredients, the main components of an AI factory. Of course, at the core of them, there is the AI optimized supercomputer, but there are a number of complementary elements that need to work in synergy here. Of course, the data facilities, the access to data, the development of talent, the programming facilities and software environments. And I'm hearing some echo. Thank you. Access to cloud computing and other related services, as well as interconnection to other AI artifacts, for instance, AI repositories, data spaces, etc., outside of the ecosystem of the factory itself. The idea here is this concept of one-stop shop, so that AI innovators, AI developers are able to run from A to Z their AI pipelines, the AI developments within the AI factory. Very important to signal that this is a combined effort. There is an European level number of components here and some others that need to be implemented at the national level. So, of course, there is this joint procurement of the AI supercomputers, but then at the EU level, we are creating a number of dedicated AI services, providing application support, developing a specific access policy for AI to the EUROHPC computing capacity, the creation of these data set services, and in particular in the shape of data labs, which I will mention a bit later, support to the edX, the development of talent skills, this networking of AI factories. So in order to ensure this seamless integration across factories, interoperability, etc., and the collaboration with the AI office. Then at the national level, of course, the development of local data facilities, providing access to national or regional data, dedicated localized services, collaboration with local universities for the development of talent, for instance, deployment of local accelerator clusters, and interrelation with digital innovation hubs at the regional level, as well as support to national, local startups and scale-ups ecosystem. Now, coming back to putting a bit the focus on the data. So AI factories, as I already mentioned, have a huge role here to play, but this is embedded in a broader ecosystem. So Europe is really building a data union on many fronts, which emanates from the European strategy of data, the creation of trusted data sharing, the EU Data Act, the Artificial Intelligence Act, the Common European Data Spaces, and the concept of sovereignty that is more and more becoming prevalent in EU initiatives, in particular aspects related to data residency. So this is just to show that data is present everywhere, and we are taking it into consideration on the several phases of it. In AI factories in particular, how is this taking shape in practice? This is being implemented through AI factory data labs. Here I will only give a hint of what this will entail, because I think there will be a dedicated ENDORSE session more on this topic. But just for the sake of completeness, what are these data labs? So these are meant to create the link between the data holders, the common European data spaces, domain-specific data ecosystems, and AI factories. A first round of data labs is being piloted within the factories, within the AI factories, but this is not the only case. The EU also envisages a standalone sectoral data labs to come in the future. Each data lab will offer a consistent set of services, including, this is not exhaustive, of course, but for instance, data discovery, standardization, cleaning, enrichment, synthetic data generation, and support on data governance and compliance. And in particular, in AI factories, this will be implemented across the set of priority sectors, which are aligned with those identified in the Apply AI strategy, namely healthcare and life sciences, manufacturing and robotics, public administration, cybersecurity and internal security, culture and languages, scientific research, and climate and environment. I think maybe later colleagues from Luxembourg and Greek AI factory might dive in a bit on some of them, as Luxembourg is quite engaged in the languages, on the cybersecurity, and Greek on languages domain. Just to mention here, these sectors were not enforced by our call for AI factories, so they emerged organically from AI factory proposals. So what we were very happy to see here is that they were so in good alignment with the Apply AI strategy that they are really covering these strategic sectors. But these emanate from the national strategies, which were reflected in the proposals in reply to the call for expression of interest for AI factories. So they emerge really from the local and national needs. Some principles guiding these AI factory data labs, they will be networked as well. So within the context of this AI factory cooperation and networking initiative, data labs will of course be networked, meaning that if one domain is not covered in a factory in one specific region, European region, they might easily reach the users might easily be directed to the most adequate AI factory. They will integrate with the simple middleware for integration of common data spaces. They aim to ensure seamless access to datasets and tools, enable efficient data across sectors, across borders, alignment of regulation, regulatory and compliance, promote exchange and reuse of tools and resources, and compliance with the legal and regulatory sector. I will now speed up because I'm running out of time, I think, but just to signal here that how to access all these resources. the central gateway to AI factories is through the EUROHPC portal. So there you find all the information about all the factories and all the services they provide, the sectoral specialization, etc. Also to signal here that to cater for the needs of these new AI users, 2 additional EUROHPC access modes have been created. One specific for science, for scientific research, one for industrial innovation with 3 submodalities. One really for a starter, let's say playground, then fast lane and large scale. So all the different scale and temporary response time are from different types of users will be covered by this, are being covered by these access modes. I won't give here all the details, but the EUROHPC access policy is public in the EUROHPC website. And very quickly to close, mention to the AI gigafactories, because this is what we have next in the pipeline. This proposal is still under discussion, but now we are reaching the final stages, so we aim to be able to launch the initiative in the coming months. So this is building on the concept of factories, but taking to the next level. So multiplying at least by a factor of 3 or 4 the scale of the largest AI factory. So this, we're talking here about beyond 100,000 AI processor or GPUs. This is very large scale facilities, are targeting to really the frontier models, these trillion parameter models that are now at the frontier of AI development. Yeah, I mentioned this at the beginning. We are talking here of an order of magnitude of 4 to 5 billion per gigafactory. So for an overall mobilization of 20 billion, we really need to create this public-private partnership model that I mentioned at the beginning of this talk. Yeah, with this, I will leave it here and over to you, Nico, and potential questions. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Javier. Thank you. There are already questions in the chat, so I don't know if anyone from the public would like to raise his hand. Yeah, George.
Hello. Do you hear me?
Yes.
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 I'm trying. My camera doesn't want to stop. I don't know why. Okay. No, I already asked. Thanks for the presentation. It was very interesting. I saw in one of your last slides you mentioned that the availability is for science and industry, but is there also for possible, because we are working in the interoperable Europe with public administration, and there are a number of apply AI for the public sector, etc. initiatives. Are they also accessible for public administration, general public sector?
Yes, they are. I didn't go into the detail, but for this track here, all projects that are, for instance, receiving finance from Horizon Europe or Digital Europe programs are get priority there, and also public sector initiatives. Yeah.
So it means, and it was my second question, because they are under Digital Europe, for example, in the digital language data space. There are a number of projects, you know, with the EDIC on the LLMs, Euro LLMs, etc. They will leverage, I suppose, as well the capacity they can build on the AI factories. Is there a link, or they are totally separate?
There is no automatic link. So how does this work in practice? These are open calls for each of these tracks. There are open calls, periodic, with different periodicities. So projects are welcome to apply there. And as I mentioned, some of them get prioritized according to some criteria. But yeah,
like normal scientific.
There is no direct link, but
yeah, okay.
They can be easily integrated. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. There is one more question in the chat from Immaculada. You mentioned there will be a network for data labs, AI factories to interact. Could you give some more information about how do you see it happening in practice? I would already like to say that the next ENDORSE event in May is going to be around data labs, so you will be able to learn more about data labs, in particular in May. But Javier, I let you reply the question.
So yeah, in practice, this will be implemented via coordination and support action. a research and innovation action for the cooperation and networking of AI factories. It will have 3 subtopics. One of them specifically is the networking of AI data labs. So the ones you are seeing here have emanated, let's say, from the AI factories themselves. So in their original proposals, they were proposing to specialize on these specific domains on data. So what we have endorsed is the creation of working groups aligning different AI factories that were interested in a common domain. So for each of them, we have identified domain leaders, and the works are already being done at the AI factory level. What we're going to develop now through this new call is the coordination, the horizontal layer for the different domains, sectoral domains to interact. So to share common standards, to share common repositories, etc. So this is the part that will be launched in the very next weeks. And as Aniko mentioned, all the details you will receive them on the next webinar. Thank you.
Thank you. And then maybe we can take a last question. Is there any specialization of the different factories, for example, domain-specific or technologies used, or they do all?
There is a domain specialization. I did not include a slide on that, but from the very beginning, we requested AI factories to identify their domain of specialization based on their national strategy. So they had to do their homework there, analyze their national ecosystem, both in terms of AI, data strategy, etc., their development needs, and they identified a number of sectoral domains, strategic sectoral domains, where they are developing the capacities and the network and the domain. In terms of technology, the call was technology agnostic, so each AI factory had the freedom to select their architecture, let's say. But yeah, I think now we have a good diversity across the network. So yeah, there is some diversity and some specialization, replying to your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Javier. I think we need to close here because we need to be mindful of the time. So thank you very much. And we go for our next presenter, Lilit Axner from EUROHPC. So please start sharing your slides. Javier, you can stop, and then we go.
Thank you, Aniko. I think my presentation will be extremely short because Javier presented JU, all its activities, everything. So I have almost nothing to say. But I will try to find something at least to add to what he presented. I don't. Is it now in presenter mode?
Yes, we see it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, so EUROHPC Joint Undertaking is an organization, as Javier said, that is the executive body implementing, along other things, also AI factories. I won't go any more into details of this. Javier presented already. For this slide, I can say this is a bit more updated. So we have already inaugurated Jupiter, and there are several more systems, mid-range systems like Arrhenius, Caspir, and Levante are in preparation to be added into our list of supercomputers that are available to our users across Europe. We have pre-exascale systems, which were one of the first ones EUROHPC Joint Undertaking procured and made available to our users. And then we had petascale systems that are also operational. You can see the spread over the Europe. And for the exascale, as I said, Jupiter is now started to take in the first users. And the next one is the second exascale system that will be in France, Alice Recoq, which is being built as we speak. So if we look at the numbers, what EUROHPC Joint Undertaking is offering right now at this moment to users are 8 systems. These comprise 21 partitions. These are different architectures, GPUs, CPUs, and in total they we give out about 900 petaflops of aggregated capacity. The performance, again, aggregated performance of the systems is about 2 exaflops already, distributed over different systems, obviously. And then we have 15,597 CPU nodes and 7,869 GPU nodes at this moment. We also have 30,324 GPU nodes of NVIDIA and AMD in the GPU partitions, and 27,104 GPUs are coming soon, and these are the NVIDIA GPUs that are coming within our exascale systems. In total, 510 million euros has been spent on these systems for the petascale and pre-exascale systems, of which obviously 240 are from EU contribution. And then for the exascale program, we have spent in total together with member states 567.8 million euros, and again 283.9 million euros are specifically EU contribution. And then for the mid-range and upgraded programs, which are the smallest systems, the total budget is 153,100,000 euros, and the EU contribution is 53,600,000 euros. The impact of this is that we have opened up the systems for users since December 2021. In total, we already awarded 145 million node hours. Just note that it is node hours. Each node of the system has several processors, cores in it. And in total, we have awarded over 2,000 projects to our users. For the powering strategic applications, we gave access to the destination Earth and also AI boost initiatives for training the European LLM, for example, through AI boost. And there were 5 companies that were selected and got quite a lot of compute time to run their large language models. And all this was done across all EU members. So again, this slide has been presented by Javier, so I don't have much to add, except that, yes, we have started the procurement of AI factory systems already well in the process. And the overall investment in the supercomputing infrastructures and AI factories around 10 billion over the 2021-2027 years. Again, Javier already told about this, so I'm just skipping this. And about AI factories, so as again Javier said, we have 19 AI factories spread over the 23 European countries. And of these, we have already AI-ready EUROHPC supercomputers. Of these are Jupyter and Alice and Daedalus that are coming up soon. We have AI upgraded EUROHPC supercomputer in Spain, hosted by BAC, Mainostrum 5, so it already can be used, and the upgrade is being added to the system. And then the new AI factories are coming up, so the Lumi AI system is now in the process of tender, soon to be finished. Hammer High, we have signed already the contract and it's being built. Italia also in the same stage, and the others are in the process of procurement. Mimer, we are signing the contract as we speak. And then we have also launched the AI factory antennas concept. This means that the countries that didn't have the opportunity to apply for the AI factories, they have the possibility to apply for AI factory antennas that will be connected to AI factories. The idea is that these antennas will be still working on the AI aspects of each country, but will also have kind of a tutor AI factory which will help them in all the gaps that they will be facing. And through the collaboration, the users of AI factory antenna countries can use the systems at AI factory countries, and also through the EUROHPC calls that also Javier presented. You can see the AI factory antennas flags here, which countries have the AI factory antennas. They are 13. And this step will strengthen the national AI ecosystem and extend the access of AI-optimized supercomputers across Europe. Another view of the systems and the AI factories you can see here now all together with the antennas. So basically we're covering the whole Europe. And now about the access calls that was presented by Javier. Yes, we had the traditional HPC calls since 2021. These were benchmark development, which are preparatory activities. So if you have never used any of our HPC systems, you can first try to apply for example, development access and develop your code on the system itself. You can, or if you are experienced with HPC, you can do benchmarking and see how it works and what kind of resources you would like to have. And then when you have the answers of all these questions, you can apply to the either regular access or extreme access to get really large chunk of compute hours to run the simulations, the traditional simulations. But as today we're talking about artificial intelligence, I would like to concentrate on the brown part of the slide where we have the calls for the AI access. The first part, as Javier said, is for science and collaboration. And here can both public sector and universities, academia, all of them can apply. Even the industries can apply if they are doing science, because the requirement of this call is that the results need to be published. There will be a report and the results should be reported to EUROHPC JU. The second part, industrial innovation, is has 3 access modes: fast lane access, playground access, and large scale access. It is more or less the same concept as the green part. So through fast lane and playground, you can quickly, very quickly, within a week, get access to the system and try to test if your AI workflows work, if there is anything you want to add. And then if everything is fine, you can apply for large-scale access. And this is, as the title said, is for industrial innovation and not for research and science. Again, a slide you have seen already. So yes, the portal is developed by EUROHPC JU. It is our portal. You see the link and you can access the factories through this, through our portal. And here the question that was asked to Javier, this is the slide where you can see the sectorial division of each AI factory. You can see which sectors they are covering. And by the way, all the AI factories are collaborating with each other within this sector. So it's not that they are isolated islands. The collaboration actually going on even now. And yeah, the scientists, the AI experts, you can access across all countries, independent in which country you are. Other AI factory ingredients, as Javier presented, there are data labs, skills and talents, cloud and networking. All this will be included into the collaboration call that will be launched soon to stimulate the collaboration between AI factories. As Javier said, data labs will be presented in the next ENDORSE workshop. But for the rest, there are a lot of already, you can already see on social media and on our websites and our newsletters that AI Factory is already launching a lot of MOOCs, education initiatives, collaboration activities. And yeah, and by the way, the systems we are procuring, almost all systems have either a cloud part or are cloud type of systems. So there is a lot of cloud included in the AI factories as well. And with that, I would like to thank you, and I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you very much, Lilit. Thank you. So we will take all the questions in the end, but feel free to put them already in the chat. So now we really need to move forward for the time. So we go for our next presentation. And we are going to start the use cases, so the actual deployments of AI factories, and we start with the Luxembourgish one. So welcome Stefano Pozzi Mucelli and Irina Balaur. They will make a joint presentation. So over to you.
Thank you very much, Aniko, and good morning, everyone. Let me start sharing my slides. Where are they? They're disappeared. I think I have to do like this. Yep. Okay, perfect. Do you see my slides? No, not yet.
No, not yet.
Let me try again. Sorry. And slideshow. Let me do it again. Okay. Share. Sorry. Okay.
Now
You
we
should see, and it should be now in presenter mode. Okay, perfect. So, good morning, and sorry for a little technical glitch. My name is Stefano Pozzi. I work at Luxinnovation as head of ecosystem innovation projects. I'm currently overseeing the coordination of the AI factory, the administrative coordination of the AI factory in our consortium. What's the what's the Luxembourg AI factory? It's a one-stop shop empowering businesses of all sizes and maturity levels to exploit the transformative power of artificial intelligence. We are anchored to the Meluxina supercomputer, which Lilit talked about already, for instance, in her presentation, and we have built a public-private consortium to deliver personalized guidance and AI-ready infrastructure. We start from maturity assessment to regulatory compliance, to developing, supporting companies in developing AI solutions in order to make sure to have for each company an AI journey which is secure, trustworthy, and aligned with the European standards. I mentioned that the Luxembourg AI Factory is a consortium. It's a consortium of 5 partners plus 7 associated partners. The 5 co-partners are Luxinnovation, the entity where I work, which is the National Innovation Agency. We guide through funding opportunities, we connect to partners, we coordinate the business support services in the national AI ecosystem. Lux Provide is the hosting entity for Meluxina, and the LNDS, you will hear more from my colleague Irina shortly, but they help companies in accessing high quality compliant data for AI projects. University of Luxembourg is supporting us quite a lot in developing AI skills and talents through training, but also research programs. And the list is the Luxembourg Institute of Science and Technology brings research and technology transfer expertise in the consortium. The associated partners that we have, I didn't mention earlier that we have 4 priority sectors in the AI factory: cybersecurity, finance, space, and green economy. So in order to make sure that we cater for the needs in the sectors, we have partners with institutions in at least 3 of the sectors, because the green economy is covered very strongly by the list. So we have the House of Cybersecurity, the House of Financial Technologies, and the Space Agency to support in specifically companies with needs in these areas. But we are also partnering with the Digital Learning Hub, which is an initiative by the Ministry of Education for AI education and training, Technoport, which is a major incubator for startup incubation, and we have 2 partners, Clarence and Deep, which are offering national sovereign cloud solutions. The AI journey that we are supporting, we have built a service catalog in order to support it. It's accessible through our website, and you will have a QR code to access it later in the presentation. We start from very basic activities such as the Inspire activities, where we offer presentation, workshops, events. Then we go into Get Ready part, which is focused on 4 categories, which are assess and accelerate, upskill and train, connect and fund. And then we go to implement really the projects, depending on their different technology readiness level. We can speak about build and test and scale and run. Just to give you a quick example for the sake of time, when we speak about assess and accelerate, we have AI maturity assessment, we have programs that are supporting the assessment and the creation of a roadmap in the company, but also to understand how AI can support the implementation of a startup business model. When we talk about connect, we connect to data sources, to data initiative, but also we create matchmaking towards partners in Luxembourg, but also at European level. When we speak about training, we have developed and is available on our website now a new training catalog, mapping all the training offered in Luxembourg, not just within the consortium, but also by external partners. But we are also working on trying to develop some automated tools which are offering and suggesting training based on skills that are identified. We support the Ministry of Economy in accessing national funding, and Luxinnovation also hosts the National Contact Point for Digital Europe and Horizon. I go to my last slide, which is the build and test. And as a molecular biologist, that's the slide where I hope never to get any question. Build and test and scale and run is where we really build the project with the companies. So it's about working on the model, it's about optimizing the model, it's about working on the data, but Irina will speak very much about it. We have sandbox environment to test the solutions, and yes, everything else that you can see on the slide. I just want to leave you a bit, like 2 seconds more on this slide while thanking you for your attention and pass it for Irina, so you can go to our website if you're interested in. And I leave the floor to Irina. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Stefano, for your very nice introduction to Luxembourg AI Factory. Now I'll share the screen and I will start briefly introducing, I think it's visible, right? I'll start briefly introducing the Luxembourg AI Factory data cataloging service provided by LNDS. Perhaps quick introduction also from my side. I'm Irina Balaur, a senior data scientist at Luxembourg National Data Service. So first of all, why a dataset catalog for Luxembourg AI Factory? And the dataset catalog for Luxembourg AI Factory aims to provide information about the dataset specifically suited to AI context. We focus on highly quality and AI-ready datasets, and in practice, this means that the dataset contains at least several 100,000 records or data points. Also, that the datasets follow minimal quality standards, including conformance with domain relevant standards and proper documentation of any pre-processing activities. The catalog has a preference towards no open data, but of course, all datasets are welcome. And more than that, datasets that have been already used successfully in AI modeling or testing are specifically available for the community. The major components of a data catalog include the metadata model, or what metadata do you need to collect, the cataloging infrastructure, or where do you collect the metadata, and the cataloging processes, or where and when will the metadata be collected. Just to recall that we work with metadata, and the metadata is data about data, so it describes the characteristics of a data set. And the metadata helps users find, understand, and use data sets. Often we have restricted data, but open metadata. So in this example here, we can immediately see that the data set contains information about medical and financial details about personnel, and this is open metadata. However, we do not have access to the exact information, personal identifiable information, or medical conditions of people. So the data remains sensitive, and it stays like this. In summary, metadata describes the data but does not disclose its content. Next, I will introduce quickly the data catalog vocabulary, or the CAT metadata ecosystem. And first of all, the DCAT is RDA vocabulary for interoperable data catalogs. It can be extended via application profiles, and it is actually extended to DCAT AP by CNECT for use in Europe. At its turn, DCAT AP can be extended to domain-specific subprofiles such as Health DCAT AP for the health domain, Geo DCAT AP for the geospatial domain, and ML DCAT AP for the machine learning domain. Also, many countries have already the national subprofiles, so for example, extension subprofiles, so for example, DCAT APLU for Luxembourg. DCAT focuses on domain-agnostic properties to describe datasets. The main concepts of a DCAT are the catalog, which hosts datasets or data services, the dataset, which represents the published information, and the distribution, which is a physical form of a dataset in a specific format. Now, quickly about the ML DCAT AP, which extends the DCAT AP for machine learning domain, as I was saying, and it reuses standards such as ML schema and adds specificities from the ML domain, such as algorithms, ML models, benchmark, performance metrics, and risk metadata. It is developed by CNECT and OpenML, and it is particularly of use in a factory where we want to have metadata, we want to have data sets and ML models discoverable together. So far, we discussed about the DCAT metadata ecosystem. The second component that I would like to present quickly is about Luxembourg AI Factory datasets catalog, and is available at data.aifactory.lu. This is the main page that the user can see, and we started populating the catalog. We have several data sets from several teams already. We will continue with incorporating more data sets in the coming months. And the user can also have access to navigate between the tabs, for example, for teams, for publishers, and so on. The catalog for the moment contains, provides data discovery via search and filter, also provides summary metadata views and machine-readable metadata export. We plan to extend the catalog to provide support for submitting data access requests. About the metadata collection, we use the metadata capture tool developed by LNDS, and the URL presented here points to the demo instance of MDC. Please feel free to use it. I finished quickly with cataloging. I just would like to introduce quickly the 4LM project, which stands for Legal Large Language Model. And it is collaboration between LNDS and LuxProvide, both members of the Luxembourg AI Factory. The project, the 4LM project, aims to provide assistance for writing and review for legal experts. And as I was mentioning, it is in the scope of a wider governmental AI initiative. Currently, we have developed the retrieval augmented generation component, and we are waiting for the alpha tester feedback. So with this, I would like to thank you all for your attention, and if you have questions, we are happy to take them. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. There are already some questions in the chat, but we will take them in the end. If you can also reply, and if you want, already in writing. So now I give the floor to Giorgos Stamou from the Greek AI Factory of Pharos, from the National Technical University of Athens. And I would really like to ask to stick to less than 15 minutes, so if possible, 10 minutes for the next two speakers in order to allow some time for the questions. Okay. Thank you very much. So, Giorgos, over to you. Thanks.
I try to share my screen.
Yes, it's coming. I see it.
Can you see my screen? Or we
We
know?
see the screen just not in presentation mode yet. Yes, it's good now.
I don't see the same. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Okay, so thanks for inviting me. This is very interesting. I will start by giving you, can you see the slides in presenter mode?
Yes, we do. Yes.
Okay, so I will start with a brief introduction of the Pharos vision in order to give you an idea about our efforts. So our goal is to provide access to infrastructures, to AI-ready data and models. And we think that this is important to support the innovation in AI by engaging AI ecosystems, both in Greece and in Europe, developing products that use AI models. Moreover, in the course of the project, we will build the first set of AI services that are tailored to the need of specific communities. And of course, we will try to increase the talent development and community building. As Javier told us before, this is a goal of all AI factories. And this will be done by offering some training resources and upskilling material through our platform. And of course, it is crucial for the success of the project to engage the Greek and European communities in key sectors. You asked questions before. In our AI factory in Pharos, the three sectors that we are mainly involved are the health, the sustainability, and the language and culture. Actually, we also coordinate the activities of the collaboration of the AI factories for the data lab in language and culture. And also we are planning, we do so now, but we are planning also to participate in collaboration with other AI factories. We think that this is important because we can share some technologies and know-how. So let me now describe how the Pharos software platform will provide integrated access to these components, to the relevant components of AI that are crucial for building AI models. Actually, the platform will facilitate access to data and knowledge, emphasizing on AI-ready data, and also to some tools, services, and pipelines that you can follow to transform raw data into AI-ready data, and also provide access to models, including domain-specific AI models, such as multimodal LLMs, generative AI models, but even smaller models that classifiers, machine learning classifiers, and etc., that are tailored to real-world application. And we think that a distinctive feature of Pharos is the concept of recipes that we'll use to define and present structured end-to-end workflows that guide users through the entire AI life cycle, which means how to go from data preparation and resource access to development, deployment, evaluation, in real-world settings, and so other users can see these recipes and build their own. So in addition, the platform will include also, as I said before, training and upskilling material, and this material can be connected with recipes. So this is a place that you start reading the pipelines, and you can follow through the upskilling materials and the presentation of the models, all the technologies that used in the specific recipe. So, and finally, of course, Pharos will provide system-level services offering access to advanced infrastructure. So in this way, we will provide sandbox environments for experimentation, fine-tuning, benchmarking, AI systems, etc. This is important for users of AI. Before giving you some more information about Pharos, let me first describe a little bit the notion of AI-ready data, specifically in the context of AI pipelines and how they can affect the idea and the description also in the metadata of AI-ready data. Actually, modern agentic AI pipelines rely on data coming from multiple, usually heterogeneous sources in structured or unstructured format, and this includes several different forms, from documents and textual archives, metadata, multimedia collections, databases, knowledge graphs, or even APIs that you can use to access data, I mean live systems. And the key goal is not only to gather data, but to translate it and to make it useful for AI models in a format that is ready to use. So when we say AI-ready data, this refers to data sets that are not just accessible and available, but also structured, validated, properly governed, so they can be reliably used by AI systems. Of course, the AI systems that use this AI idea can be of two approaches. The first is training and fine-tuning. We usually, when we say AI, the last years we mean machine learning, and when we say machine learning, we mean training. It's not only that, but this is one, of course, AI approach. This is done before runtime, so it's pre-processing. And the models learn domain knowledge from curated data sets, and this knowledge becomes embedded then in the parameters of the models. The second approach is a retrieval-based system, so knowledge-assisted machine learning, usually such as retrieval augmented generation, RAG, AI agents, etc. In this case, the system retrieves relevant information from external sources at runtime, transforms this knowledge into context, and injects this context into the model before generating the response. And this dramatically increases the accuracy of the models. So this allows, this is super important, that this allows knowledge to remain external, dynamic, and continuously updatable. So in this context, AI-ready data is the result of a translation process to support the above activities. I mean, both, not only the pre-processing, but also the online, the runtime activity of knowledge-assisted retrieval. So what are the basic steps of making AI-ready data, considering also these two main uses? Starting from raw sources, the first, of course, step is cleaning, normalization, etc. We know all that. Next, we try to extract some structure, especially from raw data. This includes extracting, for example, applying OCR and try to extract tables, or from PDFs you can gather information for the structure, or probably to go more detailed and extract entities, etc. We can, of course, enrich data with more metadata. Now, if you use for this data AI-ready data for training, you can format it in a data set form. For example, one really important data set that we use is instruction response pairs. That is very useful for fine-tuning systems. And if we use it for inference, I mean in runtime for knowledge-assisted AI agents, then the data is usually chunked, embedded, and indexed. And this supports both sub-symbolic representations like embeddings, for example, and symbolic ones like knowledge graphs. And last but not least, a really important step is to ensure that data is legally and ethically ready. So this means that we do not violate any copyright, privacy, or licensing constraints. And so from a technological point of view, let's take the first knowledge-assisted, the second, the knowledge-assisted case. We should allow the model to access external knowledge dynamically, which is essential for up-to-date and domain-specific applications. Actually, this is the most important requirements of AI startups now, and there are several types of retrieval systems that we can support. For example, lexical retrieval services that can access text or multimodal in general content, vector databases for semantic retrieval, or knowledge graphs for graph RAG techniques, etc., that we can use in graph stores, in triple stores. So retrieval mechanisms allow AI systems to move beyond static knowledge and become context aware, also explainable, and probably continuously updatable. So we don't have now static data, and this is important and should affect also cataloging. So let's see some pros and cons of these AI pipelines in the context of data for knowledge-assisted inference. The main advantage is, of course, flexibility and data security. This is a way to proceed when we don't have access to data, and we have some problems with IPs. Knowledge can be updated dynamically. This is also important by modifying the underlying data sources without retraining the model. On the other hand, we have also some problems. We should heavily support, depend on the quality of retrieval, and we require more complex infrastructure with a lot of prompts probably, and this can introduce latency at inference time. On the other hand, fine-tuning can improve task-specific performance, make inference more efficient if we compare this with retrieval-heavy pipelines. But on the other hand, knowledge becomes embedded in the model. It is harder to update or remove specific information, or even impossible sometimes to do so. And on the other hand, for pre-training, that is very expensive, as we all know. It can be, of course, very good because we are building deep models with deep language understanding and reasoning capabilities. We can support much more downstream tasks, etc. But on the other hand, it is the most resource intensive. We require, of course, large data sets. Very difficult to find these data sets, and a really significant computational power. Once trained, of course, these models, then the knowledge cannot be easily modified, or you cannot exclude some knowledge from these models. So overall, these approaches are complementary, and in practice, modern AI systems often combine these approaches. For example, we can see architectures that use pre-trained models, fine-tune these models for specific tasks, and then augment with retrieval for dynamic knowledge access. So we must be ready to support all uses, and we at Pharos try really hard to build infrastructures that can support all the above AI approaches. And I will close this presentation by giving you an intuition of how the UI of Pharos platform will be, and more importantly, what are the metadata and the standards that we use to describe the main components, like the models, the data, and the recipes, and the upskilling material that I said before. This is actually under construction. We work really hard to deliver the next months, but here you can get an idea. Of course, we will, the key idea is that we build on existing and ongoing standards and popular platforms, specifically the standards that the colleagues from the other AI factory mentioned before, MLDCAT, and DCAT in general, and also we see how other platforms like Hugging Face describe these models and datasets, and possibly we will try to extend them with additional properties, specifically trying to be compliant with the uses that I explained before. This allows us to provide rich structured descriptions. For example, for AI models, you can see, for example, training details, fine-tuning information, technical characteristics like model size, parameters, etc., licensing. For data, we can see creators, contributors, supplementary resources, related tasks, etc. These are really important domain classification descriptions. And for recipes, that this is something that we don't have yet standards. We should have some standards also for that, for AI pipelines, and the description of these pipelines. We will try to capture the creators, contributors, like the difficulty level, the required skills, for example, to follow this pipeline, the computational demands, the sequences of steps and actions, etc. So through the Pharos UI, users can interact with these recipes, will be able to interact with these recipes in a guided way, following each step, accessing the required assets and executing workflows in practice, as well as the parts of the ingredients, as we say, of the recipes, can open projects that can be then executed in the infrastructure, probably and mainly in Daedalus, that is the infrastructure of our AI factory. So this makes recipes not just descriptive, but actionable, helping users move from understanding AI components to actually applying them in real world applications in their scenarios. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much.
It's missing.
And I would like to ask everyone to, if you can, please reply already in the chat to the questions. So because we will not be able to reply all, I fear. So now over to our last speaker, Vassilios Peristeras from the Publications Office. Thank you very much, Vassilios, for the last presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aniko. I hope that you can see my slides correctly. So the problem when you are last is that, of course, people are tired and perhaps hungry, especially if lunch is approaching. The advantage is, of course, that perhaps a good part of your presentation has already been covered, which, interestingly, this is the case here. And I'm very happy about this because, as you will see, it proves that there is a kind of a common understanding of certain things that are currently discussed a lot. For example, what is the idea behind AI-ready data, which was supposed to be the main purpose of my presentation, together, of course, of promoting a little bit how the publications office could be your partner when you set up your AI factory. So I start immediately by briefly presenting who we are. So it is the Publications Office of the European Union is the official publisher of all EU institutions, bodies, and agencies. It collects, processes, annotates, and curates huge volume of multilingual documents and data. And it makes available important open data collections via dedicated platforms. And I mentioned here data.europa.eu, which I guess that everybody knows. It is the European Open Data Portal, which federates, of course, open data from all member states and beyond. EUROHPC, which is the place where you can find all the official journal and the legislation of the EU. TED, which is for finding tender notifications and not only, so tenders electronic daily, and Cordova, where you can find research results. So you see that the Publications Office is really deep in the data and metadata business. We keep it for the time being, and we see how we could perhaps provide some services to the AI factories. So this is the part that more or less has been covered. And as I said, I'm extremely happy about this because both the colleagues from Luxembourg, but also from Greece, they said and they explained how they understand finally AI-ready data, which is very close to how we understand also the same concept. And I think that this is important because this is an idea that is built right now. We didn't have this concept of AI-ready data even 5 years ago, or at least to the extent that we need it now. So we all agree that good data makes good AI. So where do we use good data? And Giorgos already presented the two different use cases. We have traditional AI, ML, deep learning, natural language processing, and there we need good data for training, validation, testing, etc. Actually, we need this kind of good data not now. It's already decades that we do this. But with LLMs, it's very interesting that, again, we need good quality of data, although someone could say, why do you need good quality of data? Because LLMs can read natural language. So why do you really need structured data and all these things that were mentioned already? But we do need them because we need to improve and we need to minimize noise in the results of LLMs, both in prompting, in RAG, as it was explained very clearly, I think, by George, evaluation, benchmarking, and fine-tuning. So I don't need really to argue a lot about this because this has been presented. So good data makes good AI. So this is something that I guess everybody agrees here in this meeting. These are the different, let's say, the different output that we have with good data, and we want this. So what good data for AI really is, and as I said, I'm very glad because most of the things that are included in this small list that we have drafted together with colleagues from the Publications Office already mentioned. So I don't really need to argue a lot about them. Perhaps something that was not mentioned is the compliance with the AI Act. So this is important because AI Act, we all know that poses certain restrictions, especially for high-risk systems, and we need to be aware of these restrictions. So, of course, the FAIR principles, I don't need to say anything about this. Data governed transparently, that was presented by the AI factories. Thanks a lot. Consistent standard and formats, again, presented and discussed. Enriched with authoritative metadata, known provenance, validated for quality and human in the loop. As I said, if I was the first presentation, then perhaps I would have to spend 5 minutes here. I don't think that I need to spend more, because I guess that now all these concepts are understood. And as I said, I'm very happy because the conceptualization of what finally AI-ready data means for us is very close to the conceptualization that have been presented by others. And this is, as I said, good news for a concept that is created right now. So AI factories, they need also data standards. And where can they find data standards? They need data standards because, again, it's part of the data quality. It is part of the metadata references and the discoverability of the data assets. But also they need data standards because finally we need to create in Europe a kind of an interoperable, that was mentioned a couple of times by our colleague in CONNECT, by an interoperable environment and ecosystem of AI factories. So if you don't follow similar standards, then interoperability obviously is at risk. So where to find data standards? And we can say here that we do have some standards that you can use. So this is the site where that is maintained and curated by the Publications Office. It's called EU Vocabularies. What you can find there, you can see here, it's more than 300 semantic assets of different types. I have a next slide for this. What is very important to stress here is that these assets are developed in a collaborative way with all the European institutions. And in this sense, there is a common governance behind all these assets, which makes them authoritative, which means that these are not assets that, some researchers or some, practitioners have put somewhere for others to reuse. All these assets have somehow a kind of an authoritative status to be used by all EU institutions. So in this sense, are extremely valuable, and we think that you definitely need to take a look on what we have. And here is the basket of different things that you can find there. I don't go one by one. You can find reference data, which is the first entry here, about different kind of things that we have, like countries. You can find taxonomies, like the Eurostat statistical classification. You can find thesauries, of course, the most, let's say, used and I guess very well-known one is EUROHPC here, but there are also other thesauries that you can find. Ontologies that, like the European Legal Identifier Ontology or the e-procurement ontology, and many more. And data standards and application profiles. So DCAT-AP, again, my job is easy here. I don't need to explain what DCAT-AP is, that was done already. Thanks a lot, Irina, for this. With all the different versions and all the different instantiations. So you can find the authoritative place where all these vocabularies are published, but also maintained. So again, this is a slide that I had prepared for discussing about ML DCAT-AP, because we also consider it quite relevant for AI factories. Both AI factories mention it, so I'm very happy. I just want to stress something on the part that was not discussed so far, that ML DCAT-AP can be used not only for discoverability of data assets, but also checking compliance with AI Act, and this is what is highlighted here. And this is quite important because in this way you have a very, I would say, a shortcut to identify data sets that comply to certain requirements as set by the AI Act. Okay, so that was about standards, but we also have data, and we have a lot of data. So everybody wants to find data that follows standards, has structure, they're findable, access, interoperability, reusability. Okay, this is the fair part. Veracity, this is very important. Quality, quantity, it was mentioned also by Irina at a certain point that they need data of large quantities. Multilingualism, that this is something very important, especially for a European context. Documentation, community that supports and develops this data further or updates the data. Monitoring and updates. So all these nice features, we have them. So we have Cellar. Cellar is a very big repository of that checks actually all these boxes all these boxes. Here I provide a more detailed analysis of how these different characteristics or features, let's say, are covered by Cellar. Of course, I don't have the time to go through them, but we are very happy to provide more information if you want. So what is Cellar basically? I'm giving only in 1 minute the basic pipeline, the data pipeline. So you have content in many different formats, PDF, HTML, XML, RDF, coming from where? From all European institutions, covering what topics? Almost everything: educational material, report, studies, legal documents, official journal, case law. So all this content goes to the pipeline with human, but also assisted by machines annotation, by professional catalogers. So I emphasize professional here just to emphasize also on the quality of the final result. So it comes out of this pipeline with structured metadata, controlled vocabularies, thesauri, etc. And then it populates Cellar, which is our repository. It's an open repository. It has more than 44 million of files. Actually, yesterday I learned that this number is already 1 year old. So perhaps it has reached 50 millions. It has also a triple store. So that, because that was mentioned a couple of times for RDF, also related work in the AI factories. So over 1 billion triples. The size increases every day. You see that there is an available API. Again, I emphasize a lot on this authoritative data, not data that you are not sure. It is a single point of truth for a lot of information related to the European institutions and the European legislation also, and expert validated annotations that can be used for training models. And this is just an appetizer, this last bullet point. I have created this slide for you. So as an appetizer, we have created some datasets, curated datasets that can be used by AI factories or by anyone, by the way, for training, as training data for document classification, semantic tagging, and information retrieval. These are highly quality datasets curated by humans. We're talking about around 10,000 different datasets here, and another set of datasets, around 5,000, that can be used for benchmarking auto tagging solutions. These are the links. Actually, when you have the slides, then you will see that when you click here, you get access to the training data that I mentioned here. And this is another link to Cellar. And I close my presentation also with an invitation for you to participate in, I think it will be a very interesting workshop that is organized by our colleagues in Digit about the AI factories, and it will take place on the 7th of May. And it will discuss exactly how MLDCAT can be used by the AI factories. And I stop here with a call for coordination, because we are building the AI factories in this ecosystem right now. It is the right moment to take the right measures to avoid developing once again a bubble tower in Europe. And how we can do this? By adopting common standards and by using common solutions when these solutions work for particular cases and have been proven viable. With this, I close my presentation. Thank you very much, Haniko.
Thank you very, very much, and also for making the link with all the previous presentations, as well as advertising the CNECT webinar, which is already, you can find the link in the chat earlier, so Anastasia Sofu put it there. If you would like to learn even further about AI-ready data and AI factories. So now, if you have some time, please stay for the questions. I will take them from the chat, but feel free to raise your hand if you're still in the audience, if you didn't have to leave, and let us know if you have any questions that you would like to ask live. We'll monitor the participants. If not, I will go from the chat for the questions that were not replied yet. Okay, this was already replied. What are the current and prospective areas of collaboration between AI factories?
Well, I can.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, I can give you words. I think probably the data labs is the most active area of collaboration that we have at the moment. So to try and work together and try to solve the issues that we have, of course, in accessing all possible data that we need. Another point, which is very important, is the concept of state aid. We are of course, sharing experience on how we can support the companies we have at national, the companies we are helping at national level. And then yes, I think that's important to have coordination, because we will have, probably we are all starting at the moment, so we are not we don't have the complex cases yet, but at certain point we will have the complex cases with companies requiring services from multiple factories, how to deal with them, setup of process, joint process. That's something that I see as a major collaboration area.
Very good. Thank you very much. Are there any other questions?
If I can add something, also through the networking activities that I mentioned before, I think we can find a lot of other opportunities. For example, now the other AI factory presented the fine-tuning for the legal LLM, which may be relevant in our applications also. So this is important also, that we can share our models and share the different efforts between us. This is also important.
Thank you. Okay. Very good. Are there any other questions from the chat? No. Okay. Then we are going to close this presentation. Thank you all, for the speakers, first of all, for attending and for sharing all this information and all your knowledge with us. We are going to upload and share on the website the recorded presentation as well as the slides, so you will have access to them and feel free to share. And thank you all for participating, for listening, and then stay tuned for the next event in May. First of all, the CNECT webinar on AI factories on the 7th of May, and then our upcoming one, the date will be announced soon. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.